Introduction, like we're here again for another episode of Raising the Shy, you know. Today I'm welcoming another special guest.
Wait with me too. That's the opposite.
Everybody's just tripping.
Yeah, when it comes to me starting to talk, I'm gonna have to take a shot.
Honestly, I would be okay with that.
For the whole conversation, like you're gonna be like, well, this person is like an entrepreneur.
Hello everyone, my name is Eddie Ortiz and this is the second episode of Raising Chai. So the guest I have with me is a community organizer, entrepreneur, and puts people first. Hello everyone, my name is Eddie Ortiz. This is the second episode of Raising Chai. I'm here to welcome our...
You could take it sentence by sentence, eh?
Yeah, alright. I think it's probably gonna be... What do you think?
I think you got it. Say it all over again.
Alright. You ready?
Do it again?
Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Eddie Ortiz and welcome to the second episode of Raising Chai. I'm here with a person who puts people first, who...
Keep going. One more time.
Okay, just keep. Hello everyone, my name is Eddie Ortiz and welcome to the second episode of Raising Chai. I have a special guest with me that I enjoy seeing his content of putting people first, a community organizer and an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Better. I think the end, not just the ending, has to have an ending.
All right. Hello everyone, my name is Eddie Ortiz and this is the second episode of Raising Chai. Okay, just continue.
I am excited.
I am excited to introduce a person who puts people first, who enjoys being a part of the community. It creates a safe place for others and is an entrepreneur. I'm here to welcome Eric Ortiz.
Woo! Hello. Nah, okay.
Or should I do it? What? Can I say that real quick?
What for?
Just, are we gonna record the whole thing?
Okay. No, you
Or
could just
like,
say,
let me introduce you, or what am I saying?
like my eyes twitching. That's part of being an entrepreneur, okay?
Help me introduce her. What did you say?
Let's give a warm welcome to Eric Ortiz.
What's going on, everyone? I'm very excited to be here. I know we have talked about this project for a while. We've actually been working on it and getting it together for you guys. So I'm excited that we are having some time today to make sure we're getting it to you guys. That was just the practice, I guess. But I thank Eddie so much for creating this platform for us. Ooh, all right. I want to thank you guys so much. I want to thank Eddie. Okay, let's start by thanking Eddie. All right, guys, I want to thank Eddie so much for creating this platform for entrepreneurs, for leaders, for people who are risking it all every day to follow their dreams. It is not an easy path, but once you discover your full potential, I don't think you could think of anything else. So I'm excited today to be here to tell you a little bit about my personal story and to just guide you, whether you're in isolation, whether you're going through dark stages. You know, we've all been there. I feel like there is a positive outcome once you start working on yourself. You know, we are part of a community. Sometimes finding the community is hard. You know, it's all lessons learned. Let me start again. All right, anything else you want to kick me off with right now? You know, I feel a lot of the times, I'm excited to be giving this time today to be able to share with you a little bit about my personal story. I grew up here in Chicago, literally like many of us. I grew up in Cicero in the west suburbs. A lot of the times, you know, coming from, let's see, let's cut it off there.
It's off the screen, but actually I can tell my story.
A lot of the time, a lot of us have similar struggles, similar backgrounds. We actually, a lot of the times, we probably are unaware, but a lot of us do have the same backgrounds, do have the same challenges. You know, when you do connect with other individuals who are like-minded. Like Eddie mentioned, I have enjoyed being a community organizer, finding my own roots in entrepreneurship, finding my own definition of what entrepreneurship really means, and not just gatekeeping it. Let's be honest. allowing others to share the passion, to see the results, and to join the movement. I think that's the biggest, most important thing that drives me every single day. You know, let's take it back, because when you talk about entrepreneurship, everybody has something that kicked off that reason, okay? It's not easy. Maybe it was the lowest you've ever been, but those little creative ideas, those times when you spent by yourself, those creative juices, you know, you have to go through those moments in order to rise and know that that is your position, okay? All right, good. I think that... appreciate you guys taking the time today.
It's really good.
I really do appreciate you guys taking the time today to listen to our stories, to listen to other people who are sharing their personal discoveries and their journeys in this platform. And remember to follow, like, and share as you... let's hold that one. Remember, as you continue to watch these stories, discover your own passions. There is a community out here. Don't hesitate to take space, and that's where the beginning starts. Something like that. All right, guys, so to kick off, I just want to mention a couple facts about me. I initially came to Chicago at a young age. I am an immigrant. I am okay, should I say I'm a proud immigrant? Yeah. All right, guys, so I actually came to Chicago at a very young age, like many other immigrants. You know, of course, my family had established themselves here. I was actually born in Mexico, so I came to join them. You know, I grew up in Chicago, and then I made my way over to Cicero, where I actually was able to go to school, meet other individuals. I feel like being in this community, it's such a... there's such a strong connection in being in the Cicero-Berwyn community, West Suburbs area. Growing up, luckily, you know, I had a lot of peers who shared the same family values, who are in the community, you know, their parents working hard. I feel like that grew a lot of connections. I'm very blessed to actually have the connections that I have made, to make the relationships. I feel like a lot of the times my family was very strict, and I had my own unique way of growing up. I think that really also shapes you, you know, because you see others, you see them in the community. Maybe you want to be part of it, but your life is a little different. And a lot of the times I feel like those opportunities were taken away from me, but I always had hope. I always dreamt of not escaping, but creating a place where there was that, you know, inviting essence, where, you know, you were proud to belong to a space. And a lot of the times, you know, spaces can be pretty intimidating. And at first, you know, even now as an adult, like, you wouldn't think like, oh my God, I'm so anxious, I have all these things going on. But, you know, a lot of my students and my clients are like, the day I took your class, or the first day that I decided to take the steps, like, I was literally shaking, my feet were shaking, I was stuck to the floor. And at the end of the day, the relief that they get, the satisfaction, the rewardness that they get, that's what really means everything for me, you know? I feel like I've worked with a lot of clients who really start from zero, and then in a matter of months, they flourish into something that I know they're even gonna grow further than me. And that's what, you know, means to be a leader for me. To know that when I left this room, or when I left the building, that room, that building and those structures were put into place, that there is a positive outcome, that everybody is working towards the same goal, you know? Not perfection, not at all. You know, I think that luckily, I've always known, like, there's not this perfection to be reached, but there is at least 1% of a change that you could do every day to just create new habits, to create a new structure. Before you know it, whether it's 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now, you can look back and really see that transformation that you are creating. Okay,
Yeah.
I know. Okay, let's move on to, I kind of blended both, so I feel like let me redirect back into the community.
Alright.
All right. Ready?
Because
Or do you want?
we might have to do the first question again.
Okay.
Because it was merged a lot. But I do have other questions, so I'll give it to you.
Go for it.
beforehand. So it's gonna be like, what do people misunderstand about you or your work? So, and then the second one would be, what's something that you survived that shaped the way that created you? So
Okay,
pretty much
let's
your
do the
backstory.
first one.
So if you want to, we can say that. What's something that you survived, or what is your journey, or how has your life shaped you to shape you the way you are?
Okay, go ahead then.
What is something in your life that shaped you to create you?
Okay, hold on. I think let's just go because the question's already making me crack up.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, like, believe it or not, I feel like I'm not the only one who went through these issues, but as a queer person, you know, as a person that, as a child, a kid who was overweight, I felt very neglected, let's be honest. I felt very outsider type of vibes, you know, trying to discover my own identity. It's always been challenging, but I always had to grow my own strength, my own confidence, and my own like secureness of self, you know, and I feel like that's what I always try to, okay, let's stop right there. I don't want to get into more. Growing up, I was able to find a sense of community, a sense of myself. Still through the journey, I mean, we're always gonna be finding different versions of ourselves. I feel like that's the beauty of it, because if we were to remain the same, then that's kind of dangerous, okay? But moving forward, I feel like when I was able to hit school and grow up and kind of make my own decisions, that's when I think we stopped there, because I think I need to like structure like how to tell them, how did I get here? And honestly, like, how did I get here? I feel like, you know, when I was younger, like one of my first jobs was, you know, dancing, and it was like a hobby for me, but it was like, I was getting paid to do it already, right? Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay. And so moving forward from that, I'm kind of like, okay, that's kind of like when it sparked for me that, oh, this is something that's an industry, like you can dance and have a career from it. So that's kind of like sparked my interest. That gave me something that you could say it saved me. Like, it's something that the dance community really accepted me, and it was something that allowed me to express myself creatively, emotionally, and physically, you know. It was a healthy outcome, or how would you say it? It was a healthy outlet to the darkness that I was really going through, you know? So little by little, I found those spaces, I created a community, and not only that, I started creating a career out of something that I actually loved. Let's stop there.
I was going to say, how long have you been dancing for now?
So I've actually been dancing for about maybe 10 years plus. I'm 28 now. I probably started dancing when I was like 12, 13 years old. It started by maybe just being in a few friends' quinceañeras, just dancing here and there. But I knew deep inside that there was a deeper connection and passion for me with dance, you know? Looking back now, I feel like now in 2025, I am now doing dance classes for the community. I'm back doing how would I say it? I'm back doing events with my clients, and not only that, but just also being able to raise awareness and do community events for everyone. That's also impacted me in believing, and that's what really has sparked this entrepreneurship, because it really was all tied up from years and years and years of work that has really been developing. Okay, I'll stop right there, because that's when it kind of all starts meshing together.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask another question. It's like if your space or event were to, or if your space were to disappear tomorrow, what do you hope people remember about it?
Honestly, I feel like sometimes if I were just to ever cut everything off and just exit the social media world, because trust me, I have been off social media for at least 3 years in a row. So coming back was a big decision of mine to say, hey, you know, like this is something that is possible. This is something that I'm interested, and if I'm consistent and willing to put the work in, there will be some positive outcome from this. And then I think we should say the question again.
Excuse me.
I think we should say the question again.
Which one? No, like if your space were to disappear tomorrow, what would you hope
There you
people
go.
would remember about you or about it?
But that being said, if it were to all disappear, all I want is for people to continue showing their own expression of movement, for them to create that space for themselves. A lot of the times, you know, in our dance classes, like I prioritize just letting go and not perfection. You know, you're here to learn, to grow, and at the end of the day, I just want you to go home, you know, be proud of what you did today, and that's what really matters, you know? If this space were to go away, I am just glad to make that impact, to say, hey, you can always start again. Okay. ¿Ahora qué?
I was like, what do you want people to feel after experiencing your space?
Usually when I'm deciding what class we're gonna do or what new projects we're gonna do with the team and my companies that I work for, I always think, okay, what is the actual outcome? Like, what is the goal? Why are we doing this, right? A lot of the times I feel like projects are very important for me. There has to be a core value to why we do what we do. So at the end of the day, all right, and I need the question again.
What do you want people to feel after experiencing your space?
So at the end of the day, I always want everyone who I shared my spaces with to feel empowered, to feel strong, to feel confident, and to heal just 1% even, but just to heal that one part of you. A lot of the times, some of my students, they say, oh my God, I fell in love with dance again. You know, it's something that I was insecure about. And it's little things like that, you know, that we kind of pinpoint, that we judge ourselves. And that's that expression of freedom that we aim for. So at the end of the day, I just want you to feel free. I want you to take that breath, to not feel anxious, to let go of your mind and get into your body. So I think just having those key components is what really drives, and I think, hold on. I think just having those key components is what drives the mission and what really gives you those positive results that will help you enhance your own growth and the community. All right. I think we're good, I guess.
I think a good one too is like, what has this work taught you about yourself?
This work has actually taught me a lot about myself. I feel like if I was to compare myself to the actual jobs, if I tell you a little bit about myself, guys, I didn't really start working until like I was already in my 20s. So I was maybe like 21 or 22, and that's when I had barely started getting my own job. Now, as I was discovering that, you know, being part of these industries, literally knowing how to work in a working environment, something that I had never been taught. Imagine just getting thrown in there. Of course, the resilience, the integrity will always, always, always push you, and you will always rise. I think I'm very blessed when it came to that sense. And a lot of the times, like, I just look back and I think, okay, I worked like, 10, 12 hours a day. And again, we all have our own journeys, but me personally, I just always was so agitated. I was aggravated. A lot of the times I found myself being so rude and just aggressive to customers and clients, when in reality I knew that that was that mirror, you know, where I had to really analyze myself and question, just really question. And you know, it took some time, it took leaving, it took those moments of like confusion, literally that risk that really just changed everything. And let's rephrase the question because I want to answer it correctly for them.
Okay. So the question was, what has this work taught you about yourself?
Okay, all right. So I look back and I think about all those days where I was, you know, working for pretty much someone else, you know, putting in creative ideas and kind of just like giving it all that I got and really just wanting a space for me to create, you know? And let's be honest, I don't think that I ever even knew an entrepreneurship role in life. And so little by little, like I've just been discovering who I am and what the qualities are that are inside of me. And somehow you get to that spot and you're like, oh my God, like I am legitimately an entrepreneur, you know? Okay, one more time the question.
What has this work taught you about yourself?
So at the end of the day, I am so blessed to have made over the switch, to be given all those opportunities to grow, to learn. I feel like if it wasn't for those moments as well, I wouldn't have pushed or knew that I had so much more potential to give. I also give a lot of thanks to the people who are motivating me, who are inspiring me every day. It really is taking that step, taking that risk, and just, you never know what's gonna happen, you know? I think that's where we're at. And now things are so different. You can even sense the energy when you wake up, like genuinely just wanting to do what you do, getting on calls with your people, creating projects with your friends, like literally living that version of my best life, you know, being able to, first of all, take care of my home every single day, you know, making sure that that's okay. And then on top of that, given the freedom to just work at my own schedule, that has changed everything for me.
What have people said after experiencing your classes?
A lot of the times I feel like whether it's reoccurring students, when I first started this project, it was new students all the time. I was getting to know so many new people that I had never met. And at the end of the day, I'm just so grateful to create those connections. I think that's it for now, because I think I've answered it a little bit in other sections. So for a long time, I actually questioned myself, and I didn't debate too much, but I kind of just was sitting with it. And originally I'm like, Eric, how are you gonna put on a Women's Day event conference? And okay, let's stop there. Ready?
Yeah.
And the decision was extremely clear. When I analyzed my life, I analyzed why I was doing what I was doing, the cause. I realized, you know, my entire life, I literally have been surrounded by only women. So throwing this event was kind of just something that needed to be aligned within my life in order for me to give a space for my friends, my peers, my colleagues to showcase themselves, showcase their work. It was a little bit like of a gratitude get together for the things and for the healing that I also was able to do within this community. So it was something that meant a lot to me, to create an event, to give back to everyone, to come together, to learn about business, to be educated in finance, to be educated in your nutrition, in your workouts, in your exercises, your beauty and wellness. A lot of times growing up, I feel like there's a sense of neglect that goes towards ourselves. We prioritize the way we put others first, and that's not always bad. You know, that it's great character that you can care for others and have that empathy. But it is true. The work really starts when you focus on yourself, and when you put yourself first, you can look in the mirror, you could take accountability, and you could choose to start restructuring your entire life, you know? So that brings us to the Women's Day event. I was so proud of the outcome. Honestly, I couldn't even believe it. It was such a great celebration. It was a place for learning, you know, especially right now with this new era that we're in. Social media, content, marketing, branding. There's a lot to it, but it is extremely, okay, how would I say it?
So I was gonna say too, like, how do you keep yourself from not burning out through social
Okay,
media?
let's get there right now before
'Cause you're
when I
about to
finish
leave.
this.
Yeah.
What was I saying though? Like, I feel like I have to wrap that one up.
You were
Like,
talking about social media. You were talking about like how it's exhausting, like with social media. Posting.
well, no, I'm not saying it's exhausting. No, it's not.
Overwhelming.
But I think I should finish the Women's Day event, then talk about how overwhelming or the breakdowns that it has, because that's true. Nobody talks about that, okay? So at the end of the day, I was able to host this event, to collaborate with everyone in the community, and I'm so grateful if you were a part of it. But just know we are bringing it to you next year again, so I really hope that you guys are there. Don't miss out. Okay, I think let's stop right there. Should I say a little bit of, okay. This event was filled with entrepreneurs, with the event, ready? The event was filled with female leading entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community influencers, honestly. It was such an impactful event because I can see the results and the outcome that really ended up coming from that event, and that's exactly what we wanted. You know, I wanted for people to leave with a purpose, to leave with hope that they can also do this for themselves, to know that there is a community here who is willing to help you reach your goals and get you where you want to be. But just know, it starts when you take that step.
How does it feel that you're a new leader here in Cicero, Berwyn?
Sorry. Go ahead.
But
Go again?
no, it's recording. Like, but how do you feel about being a new leader here in your hometown?
So I actually never imagined that I would kind of be a community influencer and organizer, just in the sense because I was so stuck in my mind with these other goals and perceptions of what it was and what I had to do and distractions. Honestly, I feel like I always say, you know, this entrepreneurship spirit, this like calling, it really comes from when, let's be honest, sometimes you're at your lowest, sometimes you're breaking down, sometimes you're wondering, why is this continue to happening to me? Why? But once you take that risk, that's when you will start to develop because you're working for yourself, you know? That leads me to the point of the reality of how it is. Social media, entrepreneurship, small businesses. You left your 9 to 5. You left that regular job to pursue that dream. You have that spirit. You have that integrity. You know, I know I'm not alone and you're not alone when we talk about the truth and the reality of what those roles take. You know, you miss time with friends and family. You miss out on certain events, holidays. I feel like not only that, but physically and mentally, you have to be strong. You know, that's why you connect with your community. You gather those tools. You gather those tools and you get the recipe and you follow it through. Stay consistent and the results are what's going to show, okay? It's not going to happen in 1 week. It's not going to happen in a month or two, but you'll see it. You'll see it. It's up to you to make that decision. At the end of the day, you could keep going, you could keep going, you could keep going. But just how everything has a structure, you need to create a system. You need to create what works for you. It leads us to what we all know, burnout. And that's something that is detrimental to you. If you can't handle it, talk, because you're not the only one going through that. Some days, of course, you're like, oh my God, especially being an instructor, a lot of times, like, you have to go times 10 for your clients. You have to go times 10 for your class, Let's stop there. I do want to talk a little bit more about, like, the downs.
Yeah.
Why not?
Burnt out. So my question would be, like, how do you stay motivated during burnt out?
That's good.
Being burnt
Go
out?
for it. Say it.
So how do you stay motivated during burnt out?
So being in entrepreneurship is not easy. I will let you know. It will be sometimes like a big heavy weight on you that you're carrying, because pretty much you're in charge of everything. You're in control of everything. Y lo que tú hagas va a ser lo que es. That being said, I think, once you start discovering the signs of your burnout, I think once you get to know yourself a little more, you'll recognize when some days you're running low on energy, when other days maybe your depression is a little bit more. But that awareness is what really, really, really changes everything. And like I said, when you're doing what you love, you will continue to do it. But I will always say, take it at your own pace, okay? What is meant for you is meant for you, and it'll be waiting for you. Your alignment starts the moment when you take that choice, when you take that risk, okay? But when it comes to, when you're feeling down, 100%, do not feel bad for escaping, for going on Do Not Disturb, for shutting your phone off, for just letting go and easing your mind. Take a hot shower. Do what is healthy coping skills for you. And as you continue to see how your system works, to see how you work with your community, to see how you schedule your own days out, like I said, creating your own recipe to what works for you. And that is what will always, whenever you start feeling bad, go back and get that page and just read it all over again and use those tools to help you make yourself feel better, honestly, Almost done. At the end of the day, it's all a balance. And I want you to just remind yourself, work hard, but just take that escape and guilt-free, okay? But just know, results will only be there if you actually put in the work. That's the magic of this part too. No one else is gonna do the work for you, so you gotta show up. And when you know that, that's when you give it all you got. Okay. Yes! One thing about me is that I'm always open to network, collaborate, and connect. I think in this era, that is the key points to your success. Working in community, but most importantly, when it comes to these moments, I think just choosing genuine connections, choosing people that have integrity and who have those, like, at least same morals, beliefs, and are really pushing for the same positive outcome for the community. I think a lot of the times we really have to step out of our own body as much as it's our own work. Growth and success really does come when you share it with others. I really do believe that creating those genuine connections and investing in your community is what really fuels you. And again, we all have our own individual roles, and that's why I think we'll leave it there on individual roles.
Okay. So the question would be, how can people reach out to you?
Okay. So of course, you guys know, you guys can always reach me on social media. I always try to be active. I always try to connect with everyone. I really do. I'm a good responder, so we can always chat. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I like that. I just feel like, okay,
I'm like, people
let's
can reach
move
me
to
on my
the.
social media. I can clip some
Okay.
stuff. So yeah.
All right, fuck it.
I'm like, you can talk about like maybe a project that you have in the
Yeah,
future,
like
whatever.
that, and then.
I'm like, yeah, like I have dance classes every so often. I'm like, would love for you to join.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. So, and okay, let me see.
How can
I want to
people
close
reach
it out good. First, I want to talk about the future events or whatever's going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to tell them anything, but I'm going to tell them it's happening, you know? All right, ready? So, like I mentioned, I am always excited to collaborate, to work together, to create new projects, to create new opportunities for the community, for growth, for enhancing your lifestyle. Moving forward, I feel like there is a lot more that we have to accomplish this year. I feel like this is actually only the beginning. You know, I feel like we're like waking up to our new potential, and I am not gonna stop until we all. Okay, no, not that. That's too much. Too dreamy.
Yeah.
We're all
So,
free.
like,
Until we're all fucking done with this shit. Ready?
So yeah. So to closing out, just to see how people can reach out to you. What are some projects? And yeah.
So I am looking forward to announce a lot of special projects with you guys. You know, the seasons are changing. I always encourage you guys to come check out the dance classes. We're here in Berwyn. I also do private classes. If you ever want to find out more about entrepreneurship, about how you could take your small business to the next level, I always offer consultations. I'm always looking to work together with new businesses and really expose them to the community, you know? So if your values, your morals, and your beliefs are all aligned with genuine connections, integrity, and wanting to better the lives of others, then we should definitely connect. I'm always looking forward to what we can create, and let's stop there. Okay, fuck. I think the whole thing, oh my God.
Yeah.
My event coordinator. I'm an event coordinator. That's the whole damn thing, you know? Event coordinator. Fuck, chinga madre. Well, I guess I'm not gonna say that because I think that's my actual job, you know?
So you do like a lot of events.
Okay, so as I should say something and then just blend it with the Women's Day event.
Yeah.
As an event coordinator, okay, hold on. When I really started to find my passion, and like I said, it's little things that develop as you grow, as you find yourself. I didn't even imagine that like 10 plus years later, I would be putting all my strengths together and saying, hey, like I'm an event coordinator. When I found out what that role entails, I was so passionate about it. And knowing that, I had to find a sense, I had to make it my own and see what worked for me, you know? That's what really started my interest in doing events for others, showcasing my work, and creating those spaces where I was able to host workshops, conferences, and just a place for the community to gather and get to know each other, you know? I think that was good.
That's lovely.
Yeah, that's fine.
So the last one, we're just talking about
So I'll leave you guys with this. If you want to know a little bit more information about entrepreneurship, networking, and just getting your voice out there, or in general, you just want to get out of your house for a little bit and come enjoy these spaces, don't ever hesitate. Like I said, it's that step that's going to probably change everything. So if you need more information, I'll be tagged. Make sure to follow. Make sure to hit me up if you need any help. If you need any, what should I say though? Like,
I'm like, if you, how do you help?
if you would, should I just be like, if you would like to work together, like
Yeah,
right
if
away,
you'd like
straight
to
up?
work together. I'm a very great event planner, as you've seen.
Okay. Of course, I will always have my space open in case anybody wants to collaborate together to do an event for the community. I think I'm not like getting that ending correctly.
Okay, so
So I will be tagged under, I don't want to say that, right?
I'm like, here's my social, or
So my social will be tagged under in our caption. Make sure to follow me. Let's connect, let's create, and let's start changing our community. Something like that, right? Or what?
you're dancing.
Let's start. Okay. All right, guys. So I want to thank you so much for today. Of course, like I said, this is where the work really begins. If you want to connect, make sure to follow my social media. Make sure, don't hesitate to reach out. Even if you have any slightest questions, I'm always open to connect. I'm always open to collaborate and network. And you know what? Okay. And you know what? You never know what happens. So like I always say, take that first step. And thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, let's do it again. Okay. So the next time that you are debating, whether you are questioning yourself on whether your job is good for you, your home, something like that.
Your home.
Your home. All right. So next time that you're questioning yourself, like, what is my next step? Is your job good for you? Are you happy right now? I just want to let you know. Think about this. But what do you think? Should I actually say that? Like, do you want to be the person here? Is that kind of like, that ain't rude. That's what I always say. You're going to be the person making the content or the person watching it?
I was like, yeah, if you want to be a spotlight in your life, or how you said it was pretty good too.
Okay. So if it's something that you're interested in, if you've been wondering, oh wow, I want to be the one in front of the camera, doing the influencing, doing the content creating, don't hesitate. Honestly, everyone starts somewhere, okay? But, okay, hold on. I just want to tell them that. Or should I end it differently? So next time, I feel like a lot of the times we allow these distractions, we allow these self-doubts to take over. But I will always say, do you want to be the influencer or do you want to be the one being influenced? Do you want to be in front of the camera or do you want to be behind the camera scrolling, watching them? So if this is something that you're interested in, it's not impossible. But it takes you to take that step to change the rest of your life. I think that one was, mic drop.